Welcome, guys.
Welcome, everyone.
What's the topic today?
I left it
How
for
is
10
that?
minutes.
Come on, man.
It's good enough, whatever. It's decaf anyway, just drink.
Why is it
10 minutes
decaf?
behind? Why is it decaf?
Actually, 20 minutes because you were 10 minutes late.
Maybe you need to add like another bag or something.
Yeah, I'll do 4 next time.
Oh, you did 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep going, man.
What's our topic today?
What's the topic today? Father Ankiro's idea. What was it?
The joy and the challenges of the priesthood.
All right.
Joy and challenges of the priesthood. Who's hungry, first of
We
all?
have Lukhma Gupta. We have like a feast.
lot of
here.
food
What
today.
is this?
Yeah, bring
Who
a
wants
few
napkins? Okay.
Here's one of the joys of the priesthood is Chaldean people are very generous, especially with food.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're too generous and we don't know what we're going to do with this. So God bless
You'll
you.
never be hungry.
Oh, we're gonna
Yeah.
eat it, man.
And we're not going to say people's names that donate because then it's going to become this weird competition. of who can do more.
But we thank you
we got
guys.
another one.
We know how
Yeah,
you are.
yeah.
Or maybe we should say the name.
No.
So it becomes, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the monastery will never have to get food again.
Yeah.
We thank
Give
you
me that
guys.
knife, man.
You sure?
Yeah. Okay, let's talk.
Nice. Okay, so
Father Danny, why'd you become a priest?
Yeah.
why?
Mathir Baluch.
مثل بالي. To be honest with you, it was at first this very shallow idea of just liking it for, the priests that I saw. I mean, you're one of them. But and
Yeah, me
Father
too, man.
Michael, I like the idea of what you guys were doing. Like I said, it was very shallow at first, but then it started to gradually build to this this idea of helping people and giving myself to something greater.
Nice.
So
One of the first reasons I wanted to was when I first started to take my faith very seriously because I realized how bad hell is and how long it lasts for all eternity. And so I said, what's the best job I can have in my life that would give me the best chance of getting to heaven and avoiding hell? And I thought to be a priest.
You were very mistaken.
Not knowing
wrong,
that priests get tempted very much, and maybe some priests go to hell.
Maybe?
Hopefully not.
Well, maybe.
I know, yeah.
I know a priest. I'm not going to name his name.
you know one that went to hell?
No.
Is he in hell? No.
No. I don't know. Only God knows who's in heaven or hell. But he's a priest he's Chaldean priest. One of my really good friends. Known him for a long time. I respect him a lot. He has this half joke. He says, "Akhni qasha, we priests, we have first class tickets to hell." He says it.
Why
I'm
does
not
he
going to
say
say.
that?
I'm not going to say. Well, not just because here's the real problem. The problem is it's not that it's not a guarantee. We get tempted, and then if we were to fall into the sin of any sin, but pride or sort of vanity or jealousy or lust, for a priest to fall into that in any real way is going to do very serious damage to a whole community of people.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's somebody within a family, it would hurt their family and their friends. So the damage is huge, and we sort of study more and we practice more and we preach more, and so that much more is going to be expected of us. So it's a serious thing.
And I think it disguises itself too in the life of a priest, falling into pride or jealousy or whatever, anything that could be really disruptive to a priest's life. It's very deceiving,
That's good cheese, by the way.
Which
Yeah.
one?
The cheddar, yeah.
Lukhma Gupta.
So that's why for me it was more. Look, nobody at the time. It was 1996 when I started thinking about it more seriously. Before any of you were born. Yeah.
When?
1996.
I joined the seminary in '97, man.
I was
BC?
5 years
Yeah.
old.
So '96, I was to the end, close to the end of high school, and my thought process was more, okay, look, these priests are getting older. Nobody was really doing it. There was only one seminarian for the whole Chaldean church in America at the time. This guy actually talked to me the other day. We had like a reunion of people that were in the seminary together.
Oh, nice.
So he ended up leaving. No, he ended up leaving. So and I didn't even know that he was there. I thought there was nobody. And I said, look, if nobody's going to do it, then who's going to serve the community? Who's going to provide the sacraments? And I said, and I just sort of felt weird, how can I expect somebody else to do something that I'm not willing to do?
Yeah.
And I just felt like this kind of burning mercy and sadness for the church that wouldn't that would be without somebody to take care of it. So I said, okay, well, I'll do it. It's put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah.
So that's when I joined the seminary in '97. But I was sort of opposite. I was sort of terrified of it because that kind of responsibility was so serious. And the first thing that Bishop Seta had said, he was a priest still at the time, when I talked to him about it, he was my pastor, he said sort of like, it's tough, you have to be tough enough for it. And I kind of I was like, I like the challenge, like, okay, I'm going to try. So that was my, where I was coming from.
Then you joined right after high school?
I joined right after high school, yeah.
You did too, right?
Me too.
Yeah. I was about your age when you were 17.
Yeah, 17.
Not
Yeah.
us.
No, I joined when I was.
Oh, so yeah, we got
You were like 34?
right out of high school one here, and then the old vocations here.
I joined when I was almost 23. Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. I joined like a month before I turned 23.
No.
Yeah,
so
I
was
joined. I mean, I wasn't even planning on saying this. I didn't know we were talking about like
Vocations?
vocation story, but
They want to hear it, man.
yeah.
That could be the topic.
Yeah, actually, Father Andy was part and parcel to my conversion. So
Zoom in right now.
yeah, zoom into Father
Yeah,
Andy.
zoom
Into
all
him,
the
he's
way.
talking.
Father
right
Andy
here,
was,
this right here.
was
Right here, right
Yes.
here. Keep going, Steve.
in fact, that action right there was the reason for my. Yeah, so I've converted because Father Andy is a good priest, and so I wanted to basically do the same thing for others. Like, it did a lot for me, and I felt like I owed something. It was given to me, so I wanted to give it back to others as well. I kind of wanted to continue the trend.
I also had the same experience. I didn't know you were terrified of the idea like I was. I never heard that from you, by the way.
Years.
Yeah.
I'm still terrified of it, man.
Yeah. No, 100%.
for real?
And I went through that same dilemma. And, I started reading about the life of Jeremiah, how he, ran the opposite way from God's calling in his life. And just the idea intimidated me, a lot of bearing this big responsibility and having to do so much. But you can't really run away from it. You could only run for so long until you just need peace in your life, and I was searching for that peace.
I know a guy, he's a priest now actually in Western Michigan. He joined this, I was in the seminary at the time, he joined the seminary when he was 53.
Wow.
He had like gone to like a high school seminary in the 19-whatevers, 60s or something.
Whatever.
And then, he left, made a ton of money, he was really wealthy in his life, got married, had a couple of kids, his wife died. He was an American guy. His wife died. After a few years, he was kind of just bored. He started thinking about the priesthood again. He started praying more. He started getting into his faith more. And then he started discerning, and then he got drawn back into the seminary.
Wow.
And then he joined the same year as I did. This guy Larry. And then, now he's a priest. I'm sure he's retired by now. He's got to be 70 something. Yeah. He's mid-70s by now. Yeah.
Maybe he's watching.
Larry, I doubt it. He has better things to do. Give me one of those, actually, that white cheese.
These?
Yeah.
My
That's
hand?
fine.
You're going to touch it? Okay.
By the way, I entered the seminary for that reason, and then wanted to leave the seminary for the same reason.
For what? Because of Father Andy? I can't blame you.
Do you want cucumber? It goes really good, honestly. Just one.
Olives, though.
Olives.
How am I supposed to give it to
No, leave it.
Bro, you sure? You
No,
sure,
give it
man?
to me.
Come on, bro. You said yes.
You're embarrassing me in front of all
لا نخبط.
in front of both of the people that watch this.
So I had a similar experience, and
Stop with this, man.
I think
What?
the title of this
You
episode
started
should be
it,
Father
Do
Andy.
not do that, I'll tell you.
But a real experience for me, I had a similar thing to you where I was looking at the clergy of the church. A lot of them were very old. I specifically had Father Michael here and Father Sabri. It was only them two. God bless them, great priests, but I was thinking about the future of the church also. But I had a lot of trouble connecting with them because of the age and language. Once you came, and I remember specifically your first high school Bible study here. Remember that day?
I was there.
Yeah, you were there?
Yeah.
First high school Bible study, and you did like a Q&A about yourself, or you said stuff about yourself. A lot of people had questions, and you spoke about video games. And I was just really shocked that a priest was allowed to even play video games, and I didn't even know that. And then I found out how much video games you played.
You're like, I want to do that for a living.
Then you said you were going to go to In-N-Out after. I was like, man, this guy's so freaking cool. Video games, In-N-Out. I want to live that life.
That's all it takes.
This is going to be a really good in memoriam video, by the way.
When I'm dead,
When you die? Oh,
Inshallah.
You know,
Inshallah, one day.
no, come on, man. Umrah Yaricha.
We're gonna all die.
So, I remember Father Andrew when I was.
Can you change the subject?
Okay, last one.
I have one
I have
more
to say this.
Steve was going to tell a story next too.
See what you have to come
What
out.
about garlic?
I'm gonna be a priest now.
So I remember during my early stages of discernment, I would go to the seminary, hang out with the seminarians.
I have a picture of you washing dishes at the
Yeah,
seminary
yeah,
like 20
yeah.
years, like,
During
way
that
back
time.
when. Yeah.
And you would always drop off random applications. Randomly. I would get in my car. Okay, there we go. There's another one. And I remember one time I took my mom's car to the seminary. And
Oh my God! No, wow.
and I might have just left it in there or forgot it was there or didn't even know it was there. And that's when it all started.
Then she saw it.
Yeah, then she saw it, then she flipped out and
All of your mums were mad at me at some point.
yeah. Mine was very mad at you.
Mine
But
because
she came around. What were you saying?
oh, I was saying about my mom because the
was
thing
mad
was
at me?
yeah because I was 17 years old, so I was graduating Steel Canyon High School early, one semester early, right? So I'm sitting there talking to Father Andy one day, and I told him this is in like November, late November of 2008. I'm talking to Father Andy. I'm telling him I'm thinking about the priesthood. Maybe next year, like as in next fall, like almost a year
That
from
wasn't like
then.
the first time you told me though.
Wasn't the first time.
Yeah,
Wasn't
yeah,
the first
I was
time.
gonna say.
So we're talking, and then he shocked my mind when he said, he asked me like what I'm gonna do in January when I graduate. I said, I don't know, nothing. Just, take a couple of classes at, in college, work by my dad, this and that. He said, why don't you just join if you want, I said, no, like that's in a month from now, what are you talking about? So he said, listen, think about it. So I went home. And I could not get it out of my mind. Like, why not now? Like, what am I going to do this time? And then I told my mom, and she said, what, in a month?
Yeah.
Not that she was against me being a priest, but she was shocked by that. Then she had a couple cool conversations with...
Oh man.
With me,
Remember that, Maria?
with me,
She was
it
crazy.
took. So the process was like 2 years of going back and forth
2?
with it. I know more than that. Yeah, I was giving myself too much credit, but the process was really long, and I remember my tipping point. Okay, so I actually turned in my application. I said, okay, I'm gonna do this, but the $1,000,000 question was when. When am I?
Will Iman.
Will Iman. Then Afe just
When you
told
do
me,
it? Oh.
he said, listen, you just have to leave. That's the way to go. You just have to leave. Because the more you delay it, the worse it'll get. So I literally packed my bags, and I went downstairs. I said, I'm leaving.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to.
I don't know that.
You didn't?
I don't pay attention when people talk, so. It's a good
Steve,
story, man.
Steve, just end it, man, honestly. Okay,
You guys.
so
Marazaleh.
No, that's the title of this.
so we
no,
started with the challenges of the priesthood.
Yeah.
Joys.
Those
We
are the
talk about the
challenges?
challenges.
We didn't?
No. That was just like vocation story.
Oh.
Yeah, we could talk about what we had originally wanted to talk about, which you said you hate, which you could share maybe
No,
why you
we're
hate
not
it.
talking about that. Challenges and joys, that's better. That's better.
No, you were saying something.
About challenges and okay,
Yeah.
joys. Well,
You want to do joys first?
you want to do joys
Then we can
first?
end with challenges. We'll end on a negative note.
No,
why don't we do
start
that?
with
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
challenges.
Let's start with challenges.
Start with challenges.
We start with challenges.
You know he's serious, right? This is
Suck it.
funny about
No, he's talking about his life.
Well, you start
joys.
What's the
then. No,
challenge?
starting with challenges, right?
Start with challenges.
According to you,
Challenge.
go.
Yeah,
Yalla, go, whatever.
Challenge.
What's the most challenging thing about the priesthood so far for me? It's been, I guess, trying to balance many things at the same time, and you really do care for the people, and you want what's best for them, and there are so many people, right? So you're trying to accommodate to so many people at the same time. It's really like. It's really trying to accomplish an impossible job and trying not to do it on your own. Like trying to depend on God to do something that's by yourself impossible.
That's deep.
You're next.
Oh, so we're going like this.
I don't know. I just want to be last.
Yeah. One challenge that I would have mentioned, there's a lot of them, but is having the feeling of needing to fulfill everyone's demands at once and try to be there for everyone at the same time, sort of what Father Ankita was saying, but more of forgetting that you need to, turn to God first and be under His grace and fulfill what He desires from you aside from what everyone else desires from you. Obviously, it's not wrong to, find what people want from you and try to fulfill it as much as possible, but it could be easy to forget that you must first please God, then please everyone else. And, pleasing God can be a big challenge sometimes, especially when life gets so busy and you could forget about Him.
Yeah, on that note, I'll say my challenge is to maintain a solid prayer life and a relationship with God amidst all of the work that we're doing, trying to balance the good work. Obviously, it's good to preach the gospel and to try to bring people closer to God, but the challenge is to just kind of offer that work as a prayer and to forget that we need our own real and serious prayer life and relationship with God, nourished by the Mass and the Eucharist. So just the challenge is making sure that I get all of that done first, and then I can be guided by the grace of God to serve others.
This is challenges we're talking?
Yeah.
So can we name names? All their names start with the letter B. So the biggest challenge. No. So sometimes you don't get what you want. That's one thing. So the sort of monastic vows that also sort of translate into the priesthood: poverty, chastity, and obedience. So the monks are the ones that sort of formally take those vows, but a lot of diocesan priests are also in a situation like the ones that are unmarried, like we are also sort of expected to live to some degree those vows. Those are vows. Those are sort of evangelical counsels because they're challenging. I think those are all the difficulties really focus around those three.
Yeah.
So poverty, it doesn't just mean sort of not having a lot of money. I mean, we have plenty. We live in Southern California, and we're okay.
Yeah.
Like, thank God, we have food, all kinds of food on the table and stuff like that. So it's more about sort of detachment from, particular. We could move to different parishes. I had to move. I moved from Detroit to San Diego. So sort of being detached from sort of material sort of things or physical things, including family, is another thing that we have to sort of sometimes just not be able to be with a lot of times. And then chastity, celibacy isn't only about sex, though that's a challenge for I think any healthy human being. But it's also not having the family that nature sort of would within you, the nature within you would sort of want you to have. So there's a kind of loneliness that can kind of come from that. There's a kind of lack that's always sort of there, just because when you do something supernatural and leave behind a natural thing, there's always going to be something sort of unsettled. But it also means the companionship and the support isn't always going to be there. And then obedience is the thing that I remember in the seminary hearing older priests saying that's the hardest one. And in the seminary I was like, no, what's wrong with that? And no, I think the sort of stubbornness that we have, that I have, is something that, grappling with that can be maybe sort of the most difficult thing, because sometimes you're not even sure. Am I right? Am I wrong? Is this a time to just kind of shrug my shoulders and say, okay, whatever? Is it a time to sort of say, no, I need to sort of reply and kind of ask bigger questions about this? And the frustration of that can be something that is, annoying sometimes. So those are, I would sort of categorize it according to those three counsels.
Could you go into more detail on the last one? I'm just joking.
Obedience? We're going to have a lot of comments in this video.
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of the hardest thing is balancing the priesthood comes with a huge workload already. You know, I mean, we have such little.
People don't know that, by the way. People
Yeah.
think we're sitting around making
Yeah.
TV shows all day.
Yeah, seriously, exactly.
Guys, during the quarantine, we're doing everything that we used to do. We just had to figure out Zoom
You know,
on
I
topics.
Which, and add stuff like this is new.
Yeah, and this is new, exactly.
You know?
Let me take that.
But people, I don't blame them. They don't know what we do on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis. They think
Yeah.
when we're not at Bible study or at Mass, we're just kind of sitting around.
So yeah, what I was saying from the beginning of when I was talking of forgetting to please God first and everyone else, that's one of the reasons why is because there's so many people that come at you from all different angles, you know, unique situations all the time, and you're just constantly trying to, you know, go with it as fast as you can.
Yeah,
and try not to
I
lose
interrupted you,
gas.
sorry.
And trying to remember. I mean, I'm just playing off you now. Trying to remember that you're not Jesus. Like the priest
Yeah.
is not Jesus. I mean, that's really easy to forget sometimes because the temptation of the people sometimes is to say that, you know, the priest is my savior and he's not. And sometimes we may feel that that we have to do this for this person, otherwise this is going to happen to them, and so much of it depends on me. And that's not, none of that is true. Everybody depends on God, including
Yeah.
No, and then they get upset and mad when
Yeah.
you're not with. I've some people have asked me questions that I don't know the answer to. What am I supposed to? Why did God do this? How do I know? And then they're mad at me, like,
then
okay,
they tell you-
magnify.
Yeah.
Like, okay, thanks, dude.
And then they tell you, aren't you supposed to be all things to all people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you say that story about when you were in your early priesthood and you didn't want to let people kiss your hands? And then the priest told you something?
No. So you know, as a young, I was like only a couple weeks into my priesthood.
Yeah.
And I was at St. Joseph, and after Mass, I would, you know, go and talk to people and say hi to them, whatever. And these people would come and, like, you know, old ladies, they like to do this. They go and they'll come and kiss my hand. And I, in showing off how humble I was, would pull my hand away. Okay? And Bishop Shalita saw me. He was my pastor.
it was him?
Yeah.
Oh,
so he was my
man.
boss at the time. And he was my pastor, and he saw me, Bishop Ballet, and then he saw me later inside the rectory. And he goes, Chash Andrew, I saw you were pulling your hand when they tried to kiss your hand. I said, yeah, you know, who am I that they're kissing my hand? He said, no, you're wrong. You know how he is, he's direct.
Yeah.
You're wrong. They're not kissing your hand. Don't think that they're kissing your hand. They're kissing the hand of the priesthood, and you have no right to deny them that. Because it's Christ's priesthood. And it's not yours, it's not. And I was like, oh man, how am I going to show off my humility now? So yeah, no, really, Pishla Bari. Thank you, Sayyidina, if you're watching.
Yeah. I remember that story. That was actually one of the things you said that early on when you were here, and that also stuck with me about that the priesthood is not about us. It's about Jesus working through us. And so like when we say Nethemot or when we absolve them of their sins, it's
not in our own name.
It's by the power of Jesus.
That's one of the reasons why after my ordination, when we went to the hall, I wasn't even bothering, you know, pulling my hand away.
Yeah.
Did you wash your hands after?
Dude, okay, listen.
Oh, this is a good
After
one.
my ordination, it was in Mother of God. It was the cathedral in Michigan. And, you know, we're in the hall, and then all these people are coming, and these ladies are like, you know,
Before
kissing.
coronavirus.
Way before Corona.
before
Don't do this now, thank God. But they're all in there kissing, whatever, and there's, you know, 1,000 people or something like that. And they all want to kiss the priest, kiss his hand, whatever. And so afterwards, I took a napkin, I took a handkerchief, and I just go like this. And I go like this, and it was just covered in
Ew,
makeup.
man.
Covered.
Don't wear makeup. Don't wear makeup
Best
anymore.
way, please.
Okay.
I'm like,
Okay, speaking of that,
Because-
let's say joys of the priesthood.
you start.
The joys of the
We have to start there.
How are we going to start?
No, we started here and
Being with the people.
Come on.
Joys of the priesthood is celebrating the sacraments.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, like the thing that I said about chastity and the family and the loneliness, the thing that's the most joyful to me now is the solitude and the quiet and the ability to do that. Because now, okay, for example, the clearest example now is quarantine. Everybody we know with kids is stuck in their house with 4-year-olds
We're praying for you
screaming
guys.
all day long, God help you. And I'm sitting there and like, you know, it's relatively quiet. Once in a while, you know, you guys are playing ping pong next to my room.
Yeah.
And makes me want to.
Did you hear us yesterday?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But like this kind of quiet and solitude and the peacefulness that's there. So on the one hand, it can be lonely. On the other hand, you have that. So that's one of the things that brings me, I think, a lot of kind of joyfulness and peace.
One of the things for me, now we'll go this way.
Yeah.
One of the things for me was before I became a priest, I would have trouble trying to get people to the sacrament. So like I'll be like, talking to a guy and he hasn't been to confession, for example, in a very long time, and then he wants to go to confession, but it's late at night and it's hard to see a priest. And so I just wished that God would give me the grace one day where I could be God's instrument and give the sacraments to people. And so that's one of the best things for me, is just being available to people to give them God's grace anywhere, anytime. And so, yeah.
A big joy for me is seeing people transform in their lives, go from one extreme to another and really see God's grace work in people's lives. And I'm sure outside of the priesthood, it's much harder to see that. But when you're a priest, you're hearing these people's confessions, so on and so forth, and you really see when you really see the grace of God working in people's lives, it's a very, very good feeling. It's a very amazing thing to see as well.
One of the greatest joys for me. I mean, my favorite thing in the priesthood is to celebrate Mass. It's just my favorite thing to do. But it's the work of God that you see happening in your own life as you're going through the life of a priest. Kind of like the hand of Jesus working and fixing things in you, to make it so that you offer a good service to Him. So, for example, Father Andy, you probably remember this. Remember when? Okay. Father Andy, when I entered the seminary, and even probably a couple years into the seminary, I used to get so nervous on the altar. Like when I would read a Shemashah, I used to shake. My knees used to shake like crazy. Just doing one of those small parts, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know how that was going to get over that as a priest. And I still don't know how it happened, by the way. But I just remember I was a disaster until I was ordained, and I was ordained, and I wasn't nervous for my first Mass. It was kind of a bizarre thing, to be honest with you. And now I preach, and I don't get nervous when I preach or anything. Whereas when I was a deacon, and you made us preach as deacons, and I begged you.
The worst.
I literally begged him not to just wait for the preaching until I was ordained. He said no.
But it was a big help, though. Like that was.
It helped me when I was deacon.
Yeah.
We used to at St. Albert's. They used to preach. They would have Mass, and then after Mass, they would have evening prayer. And you can sort of give a little reflection no matter what, even if you're not a deacon at evening prayer. So we would practice then at St. Albert's,
One of my joyful memories with Father Andrew.
Stop!
No, listen, last
man.
one. No, it builds off of this. I'm telling you. My first day in the seminary, I'm sitting on the couch, I'm watching TV with you. And then, I'm just thinking, and I turned to you, I said, listen, man, I really don't think this is for me. So I'm still going back and forth, okay?
Were you in the seminary?
Yeah, I was in the seminary. That was my first day. And he said, okay, why? I said, I don't feel like I'm worthy. He looks at me. He says, good. Good. You shouldn't feel like you're worthy. It's true. We're not worthy of this office.
I don't.
Yeah.
Cool.
Amazon purchases.
All right, let's do
Amazon. Oh no.
Oh.
What
No, that wasn't on Amazon.
Oh, I know that story. This guy. Okay, here we go. Let's see.
Who wants to go
Orders.
first?
Oh,
Whose turn is it to go first?
guys, I didn't get anything on Amazon. Well,
Nice,
last
man.
thing I
Hey,
got
that's a
was
good
my
thing. That's a good thing.
was my land book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Go.
I got. It was.
Is it the
Apparently, this is the last thing. It was this. It's a little external hard drive.
Oh yeah, I just saw that.
Because I got
That's
this. I had this scare. Google Drive. I use Google Drive, and then a couple documents were randomly missing, and Mithlim Dorothy, and I just went right away and bought this thing. So I just backed everything up on it.
What about the pick? Oud pick.
It hasn't come in yet. It wasn't on Amazon.
Oh.
I bought an Oud pick. Did I tell you about this?
You texted me right away.
Oh, I texted you right away. So old-fashioned. If anybody knows about these, let me know. Send me a message. The original picks for the oud, the big instrument, were made out of cow horn, and still till today, they're the best ones you can get. And they're very hard to find. Amazon had a couple places, but they had shady reviews.
Peter's not
and
watching.
I didn't know what to do, and so I got a couple of those. Yeah, I guess that's my latest purchase.
Nice.
Yeah. If anybody knows how to get those, that wasn't some weird company in New York, let me know.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment. Or
while you like and subscribe.
real ones, not this plastic imitation stuff. Sorry, who's next?
I actually bought a Bane mask to wear to the grocery store.
Does it have
it has everything. Yeah.
Wait, a mask?
I'm gonna wear it to the grocery store.
That's
With the whole.
Over your face?
Everything.
Do you have it? Let me see it.
I don't. It hasn't
I
come
want
in yet.
to
It's
see
gonna
it.
come
Send me a picture when you get
Wait,
it.
over your face?
Yeah, dude. Just like Bane.
Nice.
Okay, I guess I'll say my last
Joking.
What?
purchase. Or I mean, one of my purchases. It wasn't on Amazon. I got a drone.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll just leave it at. Yeah. Go ahead.
So we can maybe film some stuff.
Precision.
Oh yeah, like you can.
What is that?
I got a Indianapolis Colts bucket hat to protect my head, you know, and because I'm a Colts fan now. So.
The next try shot we're doing, by the way, is going to be from a drone
Yeah.
outside.
No, but actually, on that note, we were talking right before you guys came about the next episode, and we were thinking if you guys can comment any questions you have, so that next week we can do a Q&A episode.
Q&A episode, yeah.
So we will read questions from the comments on this episode. So I think it's episode 7.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it 7?
Is it
Yeah.
7?
Yeah, this is going to be 7. Leave a comment. Any question you guys want. We won't guarantee we'll get to all the questions, but we'll do our best.
Like, subscribe, smash the notification.
Yeah. Smash the notification.
Yes. Anything
Okay.
else?
No, we don't, right?
That's it.
No.
Yeah.
Yalla,
Okay.
bye.
Yalla, bye.
Yalla. Peace out.